Happy Thursday, everybody. So if you are new here, welcome. If you have come back before, which I know I see a lot of familiar names, welcome back. My name is Lexi.
And my name is Gabrielle.
And this is actually episode 6, but on the tube it will be episode 5. And we are going to talk about the threshold. We are going to talk about awakening, healing, the shadow, and the light. And actually finding the light in the shadow. So if you do miss any of our lives previously or moving forward, you can find us on the tube. And all of our videos are timeless too. So if you are feeling like you might need a little something, you can always go back. It doesn't matter when you're seeing any of our videos. If you can, like, comment, share, that would be great. And also, I will say this at the end too, but if you or someone you know feels in alignment with the content that we talk about, topics, we are, I don't know how you would say it, but accepting kind of like applications for guests to join our live.
Yes.
So if that's something that resonates, you can inquire at foundersofthenewearth@gmail.com. Yes. All right. So, do you want me to start?
Well, you can start, girl.
So, this today is, I think today is actually the last day of April.
Yeah,
right?
April 30th.
Okay. So tomorrow is the first day of May. So we are literally at a threshold between one month to the next, which is interesting. And that is actually not why we picked the name of this live. But everything seems to be in alignment. Like, I really believe very strongly in synchronicities. And I believe that they are ways to validate that you are in alignment. So like, I thought of the name threshold, boom, we are literally in the bridge between April, May. We're also in between, it's a Scorpio full moon. So if anyone is feeling anxious, if anyone is feeling, Kel in the comments said awkward, but I think it's just maybe like if you're feeling out of your normal routine energy. I actually was saying to Gabrielle before the live that the energy has felt almost like at the beginning of my journey, when I felt like when I really resonated with being an empath. Oh, thank you. I would pick up on other people's energy. It would feel heavy. I would feel just like a weighted energy, and that's what I feel like, but I know my energy is very protected right now. So it's not other people's energy, it's just the energetic shifts that are happening. So I'm curious to know that. And then also, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but it was interesting because as I'm going down the rabbit hole of energy, this is actually a Celtic or pagan holiday, Beltane, which is the opposite of, it's like the 6-month mark of the year. It's the opposite of Halloween, kind of. So Halloween is literally a Scorpio full moon. It's about death and rebirth. It's about transformation. It's about the veil being thin, right? But this Beltane is literally about life force energy, which is feminine energy, and balance energy, I would say. It's fertility, it's creation. It's also fire, which we said last live. There was a ton of fire energy, right? Just thought about that. And it's also about embodiment and rising energy inside of you. Like if we think of a fire and flames. So the Scorpio, you what?
Phoenix energy.
Exactly. So this last thing, and then I'm going to let you take it. The Scorpio full moon and the Beltane energy is literally shadow and light, and darkness or shadow and life force energy. It's crazy. It's magical.
It is really cool. It's magical, and I'm laughing because I'm just like, I just had another epiphany when you were saying that. So the epiphany was that, of course, a lot of times people don't like the shadow and don't like the dark. That's why a lot of people are afraid to do this work, because you have to legitimately face every aspect of yourself, the dark parts of yourself. And so what you don't realize is, before you start doing this work, that when you face those dark parts of yourself, sit with those dark parts of yourself, understand, alchemize those energies or whatever, you have gifts there. And so, like you're just saying, we're going through like this rebirth kind of like energy, but kind of like the phoenix being reborn out of the flame of the ashes of its own demise. That's what phoenix energy does. That's what eagles do in general. So with that being said, when you alchemize all, because that's why, if you notice in your life right now, it might be stuff in your environment that is triggering you from stuff that you worked on years ago, and you was like, I'm over that, I'm good from that. All of a sudden it's coming up in another pattern, another loop. You like, what the hell is going on here? I didn't look at this, but it's something deeper rooted issues there or whatever. And so those can be from past lifetimes, they can be from wherever else or whatever, but it's coming up because that is extra power and momentum. When you understand that we are alchemists and we're here to alchemize the dark areas of ourselves and the collective as well, you understand it's power in those dark parts. So when you alchemize the energy, you use it for your highest good. That's why you said when you feel in these energies or whatever, it's not like really coming outside of you, it's coming from inside of you. You're getting more power. You're stepping back into your divine purpose. You're stepping back into your divinity in general.
Yes.
So that's the energy that we have now.
100%. I also, so in stepping into your divinity, in stepping into the shadow, there's so much that is going on in my mind as you're talking. So a few things, but I don't want to like jump around, but it all does always find its way into a fluid circle. Just staying on track of where I was thinking, but also the integration process. And we talk about the new earth. And if we think of it in terms, okay, so everything in this world is shifting. The way that people view religion, the way that people view even the public school system, right? Like things are the way people eat, the way people live, the way people are viewing relationships, like so many different things are shifting. So that's why we call it the new earth, because there's an extreme energetic shift where the world is like, whew, it's shifting. It feels abrupt to some, others have been slowly integrating it, but the concept of having a new earth school comes to mind, like tonight also, in integrating everything. And it looks nothing like school does now, which if we relate school to just Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, the rat race, right? Mm-hmm. Or the new paradigm. So think of it in bigger terms, but we are in a new earth school where there's no grading scale. So, and this is where I need everyone to think of this in a perspective to their spiritual journey, where they are in their relationship with God, in their relationship with self, in their relationship with everyone, whatever resonates for you at this time. But there's no grading scale. You're not going to fail anything ever. You're not going to be told that you're not where you need to be or you're not doing something right. There is no report card. There's no late assignment. And I think there's so many rigid structures. He said school should be based off individual creativity. Exactly. So this is where I'm going with this, is that so many times we can look at people. I used to look at Gabrielle this way before her and I started to become friends. Like, she was so much more evolved, elevated, spiritually awakened than I was. And so I felt like less than. That was totally me. But it's because we have this structure of she sounds like she knows more, she looks like she knows more, so she must. And it's like, no, and that's all a program that we have been trained to put everyone on different scales and systems and levels, where it really doesn't exist, only if you tell it exists, right? So there's no walls, no ceilings, no doors, no nothing. There's actually not even teachers. Everyone that you're in the classroom with is essentially your teacher, right?
And the student at the same time.
Yes, exactly. I look at everyone just sitting in their chairs, and everyone is able to turn to the next one and teach something, turn to the next one and learn something. That is, and I'm getting chills. Like, that's literally, I learn something every time we go live. Every time. And I'm going live to just share. I wouldn't say teach, but share. So, remaining both the student and teacher in flow and fluidity at all times, knowing you're not being graded. There's never a pass or a fail. I would say there's levels to feeling more liberated, but it's never like, oh, you're an A+. Nobody's better than anyone at anything in their journey. And every, I would say, fail, if you want to call it that, or we can say a wound, a trauma, a trigger, whatever, that is a leveling to another. That's the opportunity to learn another lesson. So just looking at the shadow, as I have been really trying to program my brain and my words to not say something's good or bad. Nothing is good or bad. Everything, it just is.
It just is. I mean, it is. In the grand scheme of things, that's just, those are human things. Because if you look at it, even the stuff that we look at is, so that's why I always tell people, like, yeah, when I'm saying talking from my human mind, yeah, that's effed up. That's effed up. But when you can step outside of your human mind and tap into the God-given self inside of you, the G inside of you, the inner G, then you will see even the stuff that looks so bad on paper all has a part to play. Like, if you think about the way, let's just not think about how stuff is going on, like we know in our society, like we know. Let's just think about overall, like, say, like planets or whatever. You have planets that legitimately clash into other planets. You have black holes that suck up other things. Like, it's destruction and rebirth in the universe. That's the cycle of it, you know. And so, of course, you know, it's messed up when we see stuff happen to people and stuff like that. But we also have to be able to step back, you know, hold space for that energy, but then step back into and look at it from a grander scheme, whatever. Like, everything has a part to play. The butterfly effect. Just one thing happened over here could be a domino effect over here, and that event needed to happen for this to transpire. Like, legitimately, like, we don't know the light unless we see the dark, and vice versa. So therefore, when stuff is chaotic happening in our world or whatever, it's coming up so we can look at it and make a decision as a collective. Are we going to go with that, or are we going to take the other route? So that is our decision to make. If we decide to go with it, it's going to be more chaos. If we decide to go the other route, it's going to develop in the way that it needs to, in a divine way. So with that being said, when we look at it in that perspective, you don't really let the world and all the things really eat at you. You don't let it eat at you anymore, because you understand it's a grander picture and a grander scheme. Even in your own life, when you went through stuff that was really dark and messed up, and you acclimatized that and came on the other side, those things made you who you are now. Like, I am grateful for the darkness I went through in my life. I even know it's some effed up shit. I ain't live, it's some effed up shit. But it made me the person I am now when I learned how to alchemize that energy.
Yes. You know, also, when you mentioned something about the soul sees this and the human experience sees that, I can't remember exactly what you said, but we are a spirit first. We are a spirit with a body. We're not a body with a spirit, right? And we say that often, and you hear that. That was one of the first things that I heard that really like plummeted. It was a big download that I felt like just stayed with me forever. Is that my outer exterior is just temporary. The spirit is forever. The spirit is the connection. So I think understanding that God and the soul, God is the soul, right? So, hold on. Where did I go with this? Give me one sec. We try to find a solution on the ego, on the outside, like based on fear, conditioning, survival. And really, if we understand that we have, Gabrielle calls it the GPS, the God positioning system inside of us, we always have the answers. But the thing is, sometimes we are not meant to know the answers until we go through the, what did we call it last week? The training camp. Until we go through the trials, the tribulations, the trenches, the training camp, like all of that. And a big thing, I had never heard this before. I shared it with her and she had heard it, and I'm like, well, here I am, always learning something new, and it's always something that she knows, which I think is no, it's great. I love it. But I think we forget deep down, but then when I hear it, it's like I know it's the truth, right?
You have it inside of you already. It's just a remembrance.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's inside of us, and when we hear it, it's like I've never heard it before, but I knew it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we forget that the solution is not going to be found in the same vibration that we have the problem. How many times do we go round robin in the same frequency that the problem is existing in?
Just think about that. Other people think about it. Guilty. We all been guilty. And sometimes we still do it, like legitimately. And you catch yourself and you have to laugh. When you become more aware and conscious, you have to just laugh at yourself and be like, I be the damn problem. I'm the damn problem. Because there's always nobody else but you.
I'm the problem. It's me.
I'm the problem. So the thing is, we catch ourselves in these loops or whatever. And that's why I tell people, pattern recognition is your best friend. Because when you can start seeing that I'm studying going in this loop, I'm studying this is the exact same thing, I'm studying attracting this is the exact same experience or whatever, and the thing is, when you're able to see it and be like, you have awareness of it now you can start seeing, what did I need to do to stop this loop? What is getting me into this loop? Go deeper into it or whatever. Because it's something that's, if you find yourself in a pattern in a loop, it is definitely you. It's nobody else. It's always come back to you. It's you. So you have to see, what is it? Why am I attracting this? Why am I still attracting the same relationships? I go to a different partner and it's the same man or the same woman in different meat suits. Why am I still having money problems in this area or whatever else? Why am I all this different stuff? It comes back to us. And accountability.
Common denominator.
But accountability, like I teach my baby, and it's one thing I'm really ingraining in him. I want him to know at a young age, accountability is your best friend. You mess up on something, hold yourself accountable. Like, apologize, say, I don't like the word saying I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry, I'm not sorrow. So therefore I'll say, I apologize, and for X, Y, and Z, why I'm apologizing. So you can know what it is, and you can let the other person know what it is that you did, and you're aware that you're apologizing for. So accountability, when you hold yourself accountable, even when you're talking to other people or when you're talking to yourself or whatever, it's not judgment. So that's another reason why a lot of people are afraid of doing this inner work, because they feel like when they got to start looking at their own wounds and shadow, they have to judge. Thou should not judge. We don't judge at all.
I just want to say, alignment is such a beautiful thing, because the minute that you said, so someone in the comments said consistent looping, it wasn't 10 seconds later that you said looping. I just think that is such that is what energy, it is, it's resonance, it's oneness. And I think like that's such a beautiful thing when you see it in lifetime. I love that. And yes, in that pattern looping recognition, in understanding that you are the common denominator, in gaining that awareness, the solution is in that, but the awareness is actually at a higher vibration. The awareness is at a higher timeline. And that's usually, that is always where the solution at least starts, and the root of the solution always starts with awareness, acknowledgement. They even say when you are, addiction or whatever, alcohol or whatever, acknowledgement or awareness is the first step, knowing you have a problem. And I don't really like saying that you're the problem, but knowing that you can own the bullshit, because we always say this, but when you know that you are responsible for the looping, you can change it. That's such a beautiful, powerful thing that you give yourself.
It gives you your power back. That's what I be trying to tell people. When you realize nobody's coming to save you, it's only me. When you realize that I'm in this pattern because of my own stuff, it gives you your power back. You're like, if it's me, I can work on me and discover what's going on. Self-mastery. Your only job here is to master yourself. When you master yourself, you master your reality. So everything else you have going on in your reality, if it's messed up relationships, money, all the other things, you master those as well. So your only job here is to master yourself.
I see in my mind's eye, I love visuals, and my spirit team knows that. So they're always like giving me visuals. Sometimes They're weird ones that I'm like, I don't even know how to interpret that with words. But this one is
Well, it can be interpreted with words.
yeah, right. I see someone, like I'm looking up, let's say I'm like in a helicopter, right? And I'm seeing a maze, a corn maze, and I'm seeing someone in a maze. They keep going to this wall and it looks like it's no good, and this wall it looks like it's no good. Actually, it's not really corn, they're kind of solid, but either way, turning, they can't see it. I see a little piece over here that they could go to, but they're not seeing it. The thing is, you have to go above the condition. You have to go above that circumstance, above the maze of life to see. And there is so much value found in the higher view in your consciousness. We all can do it. And I'm so visual, so you'll know if you're a visual learner or not. But in the higher view of the soul, in the higher view, it's God's view, for example. That's what I resonate with, is asking my higher self to show me without my ego, detaching from the problem, detaching from the outcome, and just let me see it from a perspective of my highest good, and highest good for all in the situation. I literally put myself in a helicopter and go up, and then I can see. And I realize sometimes it takes me, this could happen weeks in, uncovering and realizing and discovering things, or it could happen instantly. But sometimes we have to go into like a meditative state and really put ourselves in a position to see a higher perspective. And I promise you will every time, if you truly become aware and want to know the answer.
Yeah, you will. I like what you said, you meditative state, but and it is. That's why I tell you on this journey, meditation is key. Meditation is key because if you think about it, if you're not spending at least 5 or 10 minutes a day meditating, and you're getting up, you're getting the kids ready, or if you ain't got no kids, getting yourself ready, getting ready for work. If you leave the house, if you work from home, you're an entrepreneur, doing all the things that life asks you to do. And you have not spent a minute out of your day. I'm not even talking about working out. Working out is great too. That's another part of spending time with your body. But you have to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the different things. You might be having something coming up or whatever, and you're not even aware that your body is sitting off alarms and you wonder why I'm anxious this day. It could be something coming up beside of you that is past trauma or something that's trying to get your attention. Like meditation lets you be able to block out the outside world and come back in yourself. And then you start discovering the parts of yourself. If you don't know yourself, this world will tell you who you are.
Yes. If you don't have a strong foundation, everything else will become the foundation, and it won't be so strong. Meditation to me, when I was at the end of my divorce, several years ago, 4 years ago, I remember I was big on meditation, but I would do guided meditations. And they were helpful because they were visual. But when you're in a really shitty space, you don't want to meditate on a white light bubble. You want to you're angry, right? And so sometimes I think spirituality or meditation or can really be love and light. And that's all beautiful, and I love that. But when I was in that dark space, I totally pushed that love and light mindset out sometimes because I didn't resonate with it at all. It didn't feel good to me. It felt forced. It felt pressured. It felt misaligned. It felt inauthentic, right? So I learned in those moments to go to a state of nothingness. I was not ready to face my shadows because that takes strength. That takes heart. That takes a resilience that I did not have at that time. I wanted only love and light, and I could not find it. I only found it in the visual meditations, but then it got to a point where in those visualizations, I couldn't even find the light. So I went to a space of just nothing. That is when I realized the power of the mind. And in that space of nothing, it was so hard for me to go to nothing, to just a black void in space. In my mind, it was like dishes, husband, kids, this. And then I'm like, no. And then I'd get it for like a maybe 10-second streak. and then bing, 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 it'd start again. Go back to a 10-second streak. And that is when I started learning to master my mind, is that space of nothing. So yes, meditation can look different for everyone. There's many spectrums of what meditation is for you and what it looks like. But I will say sometimes meditation just means, like you said, just listening or nothing, allowing your mind to be. Sometimes our mind makes us so damn tired that we don't even know what we're doing. Oh, I can't hear you. Now I can.
Okay, I just took it out. My baby was loud, screaming through the house. I didn't want to be loud.
I can't hear him.
Yeah. But yes, meditation is, I'm telling you, meditation, it like you said, it's so many different ways. You can meditate, you can do dance meditation, you can sit down in a regular style meditation, you can do a body scan meditation, you can do mindfulness meditation. It's so many different ways. Walking meditations, like legitimately walking, getting out in nature, and then connecting with the nature and being present while you're walking around. That is a form of meditation. Like, and then so I'm telling you, and even sometimes like when you're washing dishes and when you zone out and run water or whatever, you get yourself, water helps you get into a meditative state. That's why it's so good when you're at a beach or something like that or around water. But certain things in your environment naturally put you in that state. And so when you can sit in that state and get those insights, those is where you get the answers to the problems you have going on. Like legitimately, you'll get a download. It'll be a small little voice and you'll be like, and then you need to go look into that or work on that or whatever else. You get your answers from inside of here. Your answers come from inside.
We are in the world, not of the world.
Yes.
Amen. I think so many times we forget the divinity within. We do. Yeah. I mean, because we get so caught up in the human experience. We get so caught up in our human roles. And then we forget that we are in this world. We're not of the world. So the hubbub of the world is only part. Yes, he said we are just passing through. Hi, drummer. We are just passing through. So just allowing the world to be what it is, because I can guarantee you 10 minutes of you going out of it is not going to make a difference.
No. You have to legitimately, in meditation sometimes, that's what I'm telling you. You have to control the monkey mind. The monkey mind will have you going 50 million ways. Like, I legitimately sometimes be in my mind and I've been traveling somewhere. I'm like, damn, I done traveled to the whole side of the universe. Like, legitimately. And then I'm like, come back here or whatever. So, legitimately, you have to come and get the monkey mind, because the monkey mind will start thinking about this and thinking about that. Tell yourself you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you meditate, to sit with yourself, and all that can wait. Nothing is that the house ain't burning up, ain't nothing, it can wait. Everybody fine, it can wait. This is self-care. This is self-love. If you can't sit with yourself and understand who you are at your core without the world telling you, are you really loving yourself?
Do you charge your cell phone every day? I want to know. Does anyone in the chat, let me know if y'all charge your cell phone every day. And let me know what your chat says, because I know the answer, but I just want to know.
Yeah,
we're going to bring awareness to it. Because I know, Kel, really. Thank you. So he says multiple times a day. Kel getting on my nerves because he also said he's not new here, so burnt. Anyway. So, okay, well, you don't. Well, you're weird. Most people do. So, he's laughing out. The more we slow our thoughts down, the more control we have over them. So King said, well, my battery's at 11%. Speaking of it, I need to charge mine. Exactly. Okay. So my point is, a phone cannot have endless power. We are much more divine and valuable than a phone. And we charge that. And yeah, I say multiple times a day. Every time I get in my car, I make sure I plug it up just to make sure I'm getting to where I'm going, right? So if we do not so look at it in two different ways. You have to charge your phone every day to keep your battery good. That could be meditation, but it's also plugging in to source and to higher self. Some people call it prayer. Some people, whatever. It's the way that whatever makes you recharge your battery. And it's not anything ever corrections to all my moms out there, it is never about helping anyone else. It's never about spending time with your kids. That is not going to recharge your battery. It isn't about going on a walk with your girlfriend. That is not charging your battery. That's outsourcing your energy. Going within and sitting with you. Because if you don't plug it up, it eventually dies. Yes, that's a little extreme, but it depletes and it won't turn on anymore.
Yeah.
Then you lose your spark. You lose your excitement for life. You lose your vitality.
You lose yourself, and then all of a sudden you in a job that you hate. You in a relationship you don't want to be in. You in all this different stuff, and because the world told you what you needed. You can get all the riches that you want, all the money, but then you're depleted inside and not happy. Like, legitimately. So that's why I tell people, I said, happiness comes from within, because you can have nothing and be happy, and you can have everything and be depressed. You can legitimately. So it's your state on whatever state that you're in is how you perceive your reality. So if you're always negative Nancy, you're going to always see negative stuff. You're going to always attract negative stuff. You know what I mean? Now, if you're in your more high vibrational energy or whatever, I'm not saying stuff isn't going to happen. Stuff going to come your way or whatever. But it's the way you react to it or whatever. Like, I've had to laugh off so much stuff today. Like, I'm just like, you know what? It's just funny. Like, I just can't.
It has to be funny or it's going to kill me.
It ain't even gonna do that because I'm like, it ain't even, but I'm just like, it's just funny because
it's just not that serious, right?
I know, people be in their own stuff, and I'm like, when you see it for what it is, just like, whatever.
Honestly, that's the most beautiful thing. Laughing actually raises your vibration. So does clapping. Sometimes I will find myself going, oh Lord, okay. Because clapping, that's actually why they started clapping in worship and in church, because it actually physically, mentally, spiritually makes you feel better. It connects you more to yourself.
It breaks up the energy.
Absolutely. I just thought about one extra little side note to the whole phone charging thing is, when your phone goes in low battery mode, it's kind of like us in survival mode. If we don't take that time, it's that dimness where we're just pushing things through as they need to. We are doing what we have to do to get by, but we don't have the light, because it goes dim. We have the little red bar at the top that we know it's going to die soon, but we just keep going and pushing. And so that is the survival mode. And I hate when my phone gets dark. It drives me nuts. I love light.
Mine dark now.
Yeah. So, well, kudos to you. You must be, you're different than me. I'm like, I need my house to light up like the 4th of July.
Mine stay dead all the time because I'm always on it working. So yeah, I have to keep it charged up.
I have actually been charging my phone with my laptop charger, and it's been holding a charge 10 times better. I don't even know why. It's crazy. Hi, JR. Well, don't let your phone die, Cal. So, okay. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
No, just recharging yourself. And it is one thing I wanted to say, because when you talked about meditation and it's like recharging yourself, I legitimately would tell you, like, it's some days where I have, like, I'm an entrepreneur, so I work for myself, of course, and so I have some days where I'm more drained than others, especially as a woman. I work in my business. I work with my body and my cycle and my rhythm. So when it's certain times of the month or whatever, I'm a little bit more on the slower end of doing things, But with that being said, I listen to my body. So when I meditate or whatever, I can legitimately be so tired and have a meditation. It's like I wake back up. Like, I'm not asleep, but I'm in a meditative state, but I get back up like I didn't take a good nap. Like, I didn't recharge my battery.
You grounded and you centered and you met yourself again and said, okay, I'm present now. Even think of when we aren't present with our kids when they're little. They start throwing tantrums. They start doing things to get your attention. Our body does that in ways that we get tired, irritable, right?
That's the first sign.
They wanted to punch you in your face, girl.
That's the first sign.
Right.
You get irritated, you need to be looking like, okay, what's going on?
It's about presence.
Yeah.
It's just, and so that is actually a beautiful place to transition into the shadow, because that's our shadow.
Yep.
So many people think the shadow is evil or it's bad, and just if I can literally share and shed light on anything, oh my God,
violation, what?
Because I said
Oh my
That's
God.
PUNCH.
Oh my God. Do we have to disconnect?
No.
You're live with them. Your live will be unavailable to some.
Only
Okay.
for like 10 minutes, but
Okay. I hate cancel. I hate cancel.
I don't know. If not, well, we have like 25 minutes. So.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Whatever. That was my bad, guys.
We have to be very, very mindful. That's why we cut off a lot of words when we say stuff when we talk.
But you know what's funny is the DEATH one doesn't, because I saw somebody do it in another live and they were fine, which is why I said it. But then we can't say PUNCH. It's just like, what? Anyway. Oh well. So, shadow.
Shadows.
This is exactly what the world does to the shadow. It suppresses it. Thank you, TikTok, for doing that. You proved my point of how the world controls the freaking shadow. So, we are, and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole because it was something that I came to today, is a realization that there was a woman before Eve, which was Lilith. And very quickly, just going to say that, like, Lilith ended up saying, I'm leaving because Adam wanted her to submit, and she called on God. And at that time, you didn't call on God unless you literally were ready to do something else. And she was, and she said, I will go. She ended up being taken to the Red Sea. The Red Sea was deemed, then she was deemed as a demon. She was deemed as evil. And this actually, her name was mentioned once in the Hebrew edition, or the Hebrew translation of the Bible, as a demonic spirit, which I think is such a terrible, terrible thing. But it's so profound because she represents the feminine shadow of everyone, a man, a woman, I don't care who you are, where you are. Lilith represents strength, power, decision. She came from the same dirt Adam had, but he wanted a submissive wife, a submissive woman. Lilith said, that ain't me, boy, I'm out. He said, okay. And God said, well, okay. So, and these are all, it's analogies, or it's parables, right? But God said, I guess instead of making someone your equal, we'll take someone from you. Takes Eve from the rib and creates. So then Eve is like, you created me, which how much sense does it really make? The woman creates everything. So if we are being ultimately real, everything comes and stems from a woman and feminine energy, but we won't go there. Anyway, so Lilith goes off. Adam literally always craves Lilith because she is the epitome of someone who is strong. And a lot of men, whether we're talking our own masculine energy or just if you are a man, they don't want a subordinate woman who, yes, blah, 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 all the time. Maybe a little bit here and there. We could do that and make you feel good for a little bit. But the point is, they want someone that has their own identity, not the identity of him, because every time he does something, it's going to be like you have to mirror that. He wants you to be expressive and have your own. But anyway. So
it's like the chase energy, but not even just really chase. It's kind of like the energy, but also it's the rivalry. The word that I'm looking for is the pushback, because women that when we're in our power, we're not afraid to push you to your next level. If we're being too submissive, then we're just gonna let you do whatever, or what, and men that have not met themselves there in a divine way, they like that. They like that because they're not ready to step into that energy of being the man they need to be. But when you're ready to step into your divinity and step into your manhood or whatever, you're gonna love a woman that's gonna push you. I'm not saying a toxic relationship or nothing like that, but a woman,
not disrespectful.
Not disrespectful, but we're just our energy alone. We don't even have to say nothing. It's gonna push you to step up into your next becoming, what you're becoming.
So yes, and I just want to clarify too, a man that needs you to submit and to follow his orders, I ain't gonna follow orders from a man that needs submission, because he ain't gonna lead me down a path that's gonna elevate both of us. He's gonna lead down his own demise. And because when you want a submissive woman, that means that you don't really know how to lead. So you need someone that's easy to lead. You need a little puppy. So let's just be clear. Get somebody that was born from the same dirt that you are, instead of saying, oh, here, take a little piece of me. But whatever.
That's why they say equally yoked. You gotta be equally yoked. If you're equally yoked, It's not
You
happening.
got to be cut from the same cloth, and I don't mean the same body cloth. I mean made from the same dirt. Don't think that I need to come from you to validate my existence. That's all I'm saying, right? So, with that, and the whole shadow part that I was going into, we are literally talked about. And when I talk about Lilith, when I talk about the shadow of the feminine, I'm talking about the emotion of the feminine that lives within everyone. And we don't have to believe the same story of the whole Lilith thing. Just take the energy of it, the archetype of it, whatever. It is really a part of us that says, I will not abandon myself to be accepted. So I'm not going to not say what I said, just, well, I am actually submitting to TikTok right now because we gotta figure out which relationship is worth it or not to get what I need to. So I guess, in that you have to pivot, but
it's for the greater good of all. We do this for the collective, so.
Exactly. So I guess I will submit a little bit here, but no. But so we were told first, Cal is laughing, that desire was sinful. Sexual energy was sinful, right? Or too much. The voice was too much. Power was dangerous. Sovereignty made you unlovable, or speaking up for yourself meant that you were being disrespectful. Men, their feminine energy is suppressed. How? Because they're told, don't feel or don't cry, don't be vulnerable, don't be soft, you look weak. That's literally suppressing their feminine energy, their emotion, right? Women, don't be angry, don't be too ambitious, don't be too openly sexual, don't be too loud, because then you'll be a hoe, then you'll be, or whatever, right? There's all these emotions of the shadow have these terrible negative judgments that are attached to them. Yeah. So being accepted always has trumped, until very, very recently with a collective, being accepted was better than being real and authentic, and not no more. At least not me.
That goes to the new earth frequency, baby. The new earth frequency is authenticity. Authenticity and sovereignty. And you do not get there until you look at your own shit. You go inside, you discover who you are, and you let go with the world. Because I'm telling you, when you start to realizing, you will start to realize that the voices inside of you are not yours. They're your parents and your teachers. They're this and that. Like, it was a saying that I was coming back to, and I talked to them live before a couple weeks ago or whatever. And it was a saying that my grandmother used to say, and I heard it, and I'm like, this is a program. This is a program. She didn't know any better, but this is a program. This is a program that I got to root, So you will realize or whatever that a lot of these stories that are going on inside of you are not you. Do you know who you are at your core? Like, are you changing with the wind every time something change? Are you doing, like, legitimately, because we work on social media as well, so I am a spiritual mentor as well as, I make content for brands. So legitimately, when we have to make content or whatever, like, we have to get into this energy of looking at all this stuff or whatever. But for me, I've always made videos, like, they have the trends and stuff. I do some trends sometimes, but it ain't even about that. I just do them because they're funny and I love it. I want to do something fun.
Because they feel right. We don't do them that go against what we're feeling.
Right. But I do stuff as myself. And it's, for me, it's not about trying to follow a trend to just get views or whatever. No, it's about the mission that I have. My mission is more important. So I don't care if my video get 1 view or get 5 million views. My mission is important. It's the mission. Yes. I know myself.
And if you don't know yourself, you will constantly outsource your energy. You will constantly seek outward validation. And also, when you refuse to acknowledge your authenticity and you choose to be accepted versus being authentic, and you refuse to acknowledge the shadow part, right? It doesn't disappear. And we talk about this often and we bring it up different ways, but it goes to the underworld. It goes to the underground. And you know what happens when those things that you refuse to acknowledge, like even rage, saying things like, I want to do this, right? Obviously, I would not, but speaking it, I'm releasing it and done, right? Obviously, we have to be self-aware. We live in a world that people take things very literal, so you have to do it in a safe space, right? But if you continue to suppress or not acknowledge and kind of dim that part of yourself, it starts running the show from the subconscious. It really does. And then your shadow actually becomes, it's kind of like putting something with a lid on it that can't breathe, right? It starts to, but it never dies. So it starts to rattle and rage, and there's combustion that starts to happen.
And it can boil over. And that's when you see people commit stuff out of crimes, passionate crimes and stuff like that, because they were not in tune with those emotions. Those shadows came up. They acted out in a moment, and they acted out in a way that you cannot take back. That's why it is so important. Like, it's so, when you see it, you're like, so many people are being controlled by their emotions. And like, we all can say that we've done it and we do it from time to time or whatever else. You legitimately catch yourself reacting in a way, and you're like, where's that coming from? And sometimes you're not even consciously legit. That's why it's so important to practice being present with yourself. Because when you practice that, you're able to see when you do get out of character. Like, I tell people, self-mastery is not perfectionism. That's not what it is. Those are two different things. Self-mastery is knowing yourself, doing the internal work, and when you make a mistake, then therefore you recalculate and you redo it. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's integration and recalibration. It's not, I gotta be perfect and do it this way, or people go, and that's what people do. And this is what happens when people tend to put people like spiritual gurus or pastors, put them on a pedestal or whatever. Then all of a sudden you see a downfall or something happen. First of all, you're supposed to put them on a pedestal. They were delivering a message. Anybody can deliver a message. You can get in tune with yourself, the God within you, and deliver a message, but you're not supposed to follow the messenger. You're supposed to take that message, see how it applies to you, if it serves you, and then alchemize and then use it for yourself and move in your life. Not
and help other people too with your story from that point.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Not worship people and what they're saying or whatever else. Like I tell people, don't never worship me. Do not. I am not perfect. I will tell you any day. Sometimes I will lash out and get in my energy, and then I could bring it back. That's the mastery, awareness, learning yourself, knowing yourself. It's not perfectionism.
Awareness is the mastery, and the minute that you put any human on a pedestal, or the minute that any human believes that they deserve to be on a pedestal from anyone else. Like, I'm on my own pedestal and I will break myself down myself, but I don't want anyone else because I will fail you every single time. I will, because that's what we do. We're here to be imperfect, right?
Perfectly imperfect.
And that is what we're here. We were never meant. We would not have the skin and the humanity that we have if we were not meant to be imperfect. That legitimately is a part of this entire experience, is to fuck up. Because when we mess up, we allow opportunity for not just us, but a collective to learn, whether it's learning from our mistakes, learning from the way we made them feel, learning from the way we responded, bad or good, or however. Like, there is so many opportunities of growth in being a human and understanding even someone else's issues. We can learn from that if we allow and if we're aware.
I'm glad you brought that up. It made me think of school, because, and that's another reason why I feel like so many people are afraid to, like, get this pull to create something, do something, whatever. They're afraid to follow themselves, to quit a job, to start a career, to start their business, whatever else. They're afraid to do so because they're like, it's no stability there. Like, legitimately, there's no stability there. You have to make your stability. And legitimately, like we talked about this before, being an entrepreneur is actually doing your internal work. It's the most spiritual journey you will ever be on, because you have to face every aspect of yourself, your shadows at every level and every position. So the reason why I was thinking about school, because school teaches you different. They give you the material first, and they give you the lessons so you can read and learn, and then you have a test. Oh, life is different, baby. Life will give you the test first, and then you're gonna learn. Oh, okay. Let me figure out how to move in this. Then you're gonna learn the lessons after you get the test. You get the test first.
So, isn't that interesting though? That is literally the structure of society control, is to get you out of your inner knowing, and to totally shift your inner compass, which is to make mistakes and then learn from those actual mistakes, not learning. do A, B, C, D, E. Now we're going to test you to make sure that you know the right way. Instead of, let me see, almost like a, when you take a test to see a placement test. Let me just see what you know. Then I know what to teach you. That's how school should be set up. And not everyone at 5 years old is going to know the same thing. Maybe a 5-year-old could be in 3rd grade. Who knows? But starting people off with what placement are you in? What consciousness do you have? And that's where that honestly just spoke this out in live time right here. But that is truly, our school system does more than just make us workers and factory workers and 9-to-5 compliant people and tell us when to eat, when to pee, when to play, when to talk. What the like, if we look at the way that God designed us, we were meant to just experience and take opportunities out of all the experiences that we maybe shouldn't have done something this way, but then do it a different way.
Yeah. That's the journey. And you have to get comfortable with that. And that's why so many people are afraid, because they're like, oh, what if I do this? What if I make, let me tell you something. Being an entrepreneur, you're going to lose plenty of money. You're going to lose relationships. You're going to lose, I'm telling you, get ready to lose stuff, but you also go gain stuff. You also go gain your stuff. You also go, you know, and so many people are, so I'm saying this because I feel like some people in this room need to be doing something they're being pulled to do, but they are afraid to step out on their faith. They're afraid to step into the energy that's pulling them to step into. Do it. Do it. I'm telling you, you would rather, when it's time for you to go and you leave this physical vessel, you would rather say, I did it and I tried, even if you don't accomplish it. I did it and I tried, then I wish I would have done it and see how it worked out. It's so much. When I leave here, baby, I'm going to say, yeah, I did it. I tried it. I achieved whatever. And whatever I did and I didn't, but I did it. I did it.
There's so much sovereignty, finding your own inner authority in solitude. Because, and this is why I say that, when you choose to do it, 90% of the people that are around you in the point that you choose to do it, that you're scared, are going to project their own insecurities onto you and are going to project their program onto you, which means that when someone is afraid to do something, you doing something is asinine, insane, and if you ever did something and they were fearful of doing it, they are going to project their wounds on you like a straight sniper.
Oh, I'm telling you, when you make a plan, get ready for it. We're telling you this to prepare you. Get ready for it. Because there's going to be so many people you know, friends, family, loved ones, and you're not to get upset and judge them or whatever else, you know what I mean? Because you're seeing they're coming from a place of they feel like they can't do it. So they're afraid. So they want to put you in, oh, we don't want him to do that because he might not be able to achieve it or whatever. You know, when we first moved to Florida or whatever, you know, like legitimately, like I didn't tell nobody really that I was moving until like a few days or maybe one or two people knew about a month before I moved. Didn't nobody knew I was making a drive across. Yeah. Didn't nobody know that. And the reason why is because I didn't want people, other evil eyes, limited belief, because that's what the evil eye is. It can be intentionally or unintentional. And unintentional is when you're just afraid for them or you don't want something to happen or whatever else. You're like, oh, they can't do it or you can't see it in yourself. Intentional is when, oh, you know, when you thinking that kind of way about them, they don't need that, I deserve it all. That's intentional. But that's why when you're building something in the early stages, keep it to your damn self.
I do that with my baby. He's 18. I don't want him leaving. And I tell him I don't want him leaving. It is so out of a space of I don't want to be without him. It's not that I don't want him to go but I don't want to be without him. So sometimes I would say more often than not, because I think when you get to this space of evolution, you know who's for you and who's not. So the people who are really for you and you know, and they're being, unconsciously projecting. It's really from a space of just wanting you with them or wanting you to stay the version that they know because it's easy and it's comfortable, because they know that if you do that, then it might force them to be a little bit of a different version, or it might force them to for example, you moved to Florida from Mississippi, right? It would force your family to then show up a little different, which might force them to, if you were neighbors with some, you see what I'm saying? It would force a different role for people to play sometimes in your life in whatever way. And I think it's important to understand exactly what you just said, but the unconscious mind tries to protect itself by placing the things that they have denied or the things that you have denied onto someone else, because it feels better to think that you're almost like helping someone else from your perspective instead of facing it within yourself. It's like it's a denied part of yourself, but that's how they're able to see it in you, because it's in them. They're just choosing to block it, and then it's like it literally is a projection. Like, I don't want to see it with me. I'm going to hide the dark and shine the light onto you, and you can choose to, then remain aware. Is this a projection, or is this something I need to sit with?
I want to bring up one more point when you said that. But when you do take those steps and people doubt you or whatever, you used to people doubting you on your journey. That's part of it. And you shouldn't be worried about nobody else. Worry about yourself. And so when people doubt you and project that stuff onto you or whatever, you, like you said, you will realize they're coming from a place. You can tell when they're coming from a place of really, don't want you to do something or whatever because they're jealous, or coming from a place of just, not wanting you to change their position in their life or whatever. When people do that and you really see it, you have compassion for them because you understand they haven't met this up. But what happens is when you take that chance and you do it, and you achieve something and you do whatever, what you're doing, I always have this analogy. When you're a trailblazer or you go first, if it's breaking generational curses or whatever else, you go first or whatever. It's like a wooded area that you're having to chop down some trees to help the next people behind you come along to be able to go through the woods or whatever. So it's going to be tough for you at first because you're chopping down trees that nobody ever been to this part of the forest or whatever, So it's going to be tougher for you. But then you also give them, be like, oh my God, she really stepped out on faith. She really did it. I tell so many people, be like, you know what? You really stepped out on faith. Like people say they have faith, but I've never seen faith in a way. And when I was doing it, I didn't even look at it that way. I looked at it as I'm just knowing my higher self is telling me to do something. I'm listening and I'm following. You know what I mean? It wasn't until people have been saying it to me and I'm like, oh wow, that's why I have this plaque right here, faith over fear, because it's legitimately following that inner guidance, even though you don't know how it's going to look, even though it be chaotic and crazy sometimes, but that chaos and crazy also helps you to become the version that you are, and you're building up yourself. So it's a beautiful inner journey when you're really present with life and how everything is unfolding.
When you were saying that, I thought of a new development. No one wants to build a house where there's tons of trees and nothing. But the minute that they start taking the trees down, putting in driveways, putting in lots, then people are like, oh, they done did the work. Now all I have to do is go build and put my house there. And so essentially those people that are doing the work, but the ones that actually cleared the way, they are the ones that are actually profiting, not really monetary wise for what we're talking about, but energetically profiting from being the waymakers. That is legitimately what a waymaker is and does. So sometimes it feels like you're working by yourself out doing the demolition. And then once you get there, all these people want to come and put their houses on your damn property, but make sure you charge them. That means make sure they know who the fuck you are. And they won't know until you know. So until you've actually really done that work and you've cleared the path for yourself, that's when. And Kel's laughing at me, but I'm so serious because that is where, and being an empath, I don't relate to that as much anymore, but that does not mean you endlessly give energy. That doesn't mean you clear paths and build the dang house. That means you can clear the path, but they are responsible for the house.
They got to do their work, baby. You can't do nobody work for them. You can, I'm telling you, being, and Lexi because we're mentors and coaches. So, when we have clients or whatever, we walk them through it and we show them the process and we give them the work to do or whatever. But if they don't apply and take that knowledge, it's not going to do anything. How many times have you bought a course and didn't do anything with it? And
listen, I was just thinking, if we did build their house, you want to know what? We'd be cooking their damn meals every night, too. because you can't give stuff to people and then they appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's like continuing to just give and give and give. There's never an end until you create that end or the boundary.
Then you become the villain. This is what happens when you give and give and give and don't set any boundaries, and then it's depleting you. Then when you finally set a boundary, you become the villain now. Oh, you're the villain.
You were the villain to yourself already before you were the villain to them, though. So who we going? I'd rather be the villain to them than myself.
Yes.
It's that inner peace. You know, that's a big thing going on now on the social media is I'll be the villain in their story. It's this radical self-acceptance. It's taking back your power, because if I'm not the villain in your story, I'm fighting my freaking self every single day. So you're not really fighting me when I'm your villain. You're actually fighting yourself. You just want to blame me.
Yeah.
Right. So when I know that, I'm good.
Because everybody, I was telling my boyfriend this. I was like, honestly, everybody has their own representation of you. I said, I'm only the version in your head that you have. This is not the version of me. I said, just like you're only the version in my head. Everybody are legitimately living in their own bubble of realities and seeing stuff in their own way, if it's effed up or not effed up. And then, you know, we project it off into the world or whatever until we're aware of what we're doing and stuff like that. Like, legitimately, the version I am in Lexi's eyes might not be the version of somebody else's eyes. I might be a damn villain and baby.
I'm definitely not. I know that for a fact. And you know what? We'll end it here, but I stopped trying to prove or convince anyone of who I am. I will never beg someone to see me, to see my heart. They will if they want to. If they don't, I will be whatever they want me to be. I don't give a I stop over explaining why I have boundaries or why I say I will or won't do something. I won't cut myself up into pieces just so I'm easier to swallow. I ain't doing that. You can choke, literally. And you want to know what else I stopped doing? And this is in romantic relationships, but I stopped thinking that chaos equaled compatibility or chemistry, because it was a nervous system thing too. That was a whole part of the understanding, all in all, what I was doing that was hurting me but not helping me. And so anyway, I think, and most of the time all of these things show up differently in all aspects of our life, and then we start to correlate them as time goes on. But yeah, that was a lot in a short time, but it went by really fast, and I feel like we could talk about those kinds of things forever.
I know, right?
I guess we'll just end here on the threshold of this journey. Kel said, well, this was interesting. You and your awkward energy. Now, awakening and healing can feel awkward. It can feel anxious. It can feel lonely. It can feel like you are standing in one version and have another version that you're standing into, and then like you're literally going to be doing a split at some point, and then you have to choose the highest version of yourself. That is the way, because that's the way you're going to feel most fulfilled. And so we show up here for you and for us every week, to talk about it. So there's that.
This energy, before we close, this energy, when you brought it up, I meant to say, when you said it, it reminds me of crossroad energy, because like you have to choose which one you're going there. It reminds me of that crossroad energy, you know,
yes.
What path am I deciding to take or whatever. And that's what it is. When you're recalibrating, your frequency is recalibrating, like you're going to go up and down, get used to that or whatever. You're balancing, you're learning. Anytime you're balancing that energy, it's going to be looking all kind of ways at first, until you get in a flow or whatever. So that is a part of the journey. And we get on these live every Thursday so we can be able to help people to understand what they're going through, because a lot of times people don't have communities like this to be able to talk about what it is I'm going through. How am I feeling? You know, what am I feeling? I've had so many people call me over the weeks like, why am I feeling this way? And I'm like, oh, you ain't the only one. Let me just break it down to you. So we have these conversations every Thursday or whatever, and then the last Sunday of every month or whatever. So we can be able to talk about this in a collective, build a community, and so we can grow and create this new earth that is already here.
Yes, and that's why I got Goddess Hecate, because she is the goddess of the crossroads. This reminds me, and just because you evolve doesn't mean that you will not come up on another crossroad. There are constantly crossroads and constantly decisions and higher ways and other ways to elevate and grow and evolve, you're constantly going to feel torn in between. The new earth frequency is not just a one and done. It is a continual process that you have to be conscious and intentional and continue to choose yourself.
Embodiment.
Yep. So, all right, well, that's it for this episode. If you missed it, if you're just tuning in because I saw some people just entered, you can follow us on the Tube, Founders of the New Earth. And if you don't want to go watch it, we also still just have good content over there, so follow us. And if you or someone you know may be interested in joining us as a like co-host or a guest on one of our lives, we're doing one guest a month, so we have one for next month, but it would be May, so June. And we might have June with Jeremy, I'm not sure, but then July, whatever. But anyway, if you or someone you know is interested, give them our information, foundersofthenewearth@gmail.com. And yeah, because we're always trying to collaborate and grow and evolve with other people too. So,
and build this community, because remember, we are the founders of the new earth.
Yes. We never do it together, but we're going to get it one day. She says the at the beginning and I don't, and I have to do it. But anyway. All right. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
I was laughing. Bye.